All right, y'all. So I made a tweet the other day talking about the gameplay itself in Gekishin. And I made a video yesterday talking about the character kit designs. I think that, we talked about it there, but the kit designs of the characters are, I think, pretty good for the most part. Some buffs and nerfs needed, but I think the devs are doing a pretty good job with that. But I want to talk about the actual like gameplay itself, the map itself, all the extra rules, and how that is a thing that really needs tuning in many areas. So I actually am not alone today. I'm joined by Eisen DB. Hello, Eisen. You could go ahead and introduce
What's up,
yourself.
everybody? How you guys doing?
Yeah. So yeah, Eisen is a very good player at the game. In the network test was the previous like #1 ranked player during then, and this guy's cracked at the game, so he really knows what he's talking about more than I would, honestly. So we both played the game a very, very large amount of time, and I think he will have some really helpful insights that I might not even be thinking about. So that's why I really wanted to bring him out here. You'll see he has a YouTube channel. It's linked in the description below. So I would check him out. He's kind of gonna be uploading just a bunch of stuff about how to get better about the game. So just take him out, honestly. So let's just hop right into it. I mean, I talked about it here in this tweet. 80% of the game I feel like is very reliant in the first 3 minutes. Cell Juniors, Gekishin Burst, I just really hate. There's a lot of things. What are your thoughts about like the actual gameplay and like one thing that you would really want to change? Like, what is the priority I think that has to be changed in your opinion?
I think the game is very, very snowbally. The first 2 minutes, I would say, even decide a lot of how you're going to be playing throughout the mid game. Because in the first 2 minutes, you have both the first boss spawning, which, regardless of where it is, whether it's Nappa or Android 16, both are really strong buffs. Android 16 gives you a massive movement speed buff that makes it easier to both get away from people, but also chase them down to get more kills consistently. And Nappa gives you a 30% rush attack buff, which, depending on your character, if you're playing somebody like Oob, that will make a very big difference in a fight. So those will give you very big advantages when you're fighting people. And then on top of that, because you have those advantages, it's easier for you to get things such as Supreme Kais to get XP, or just getting chip damage, or just actual damage on towers, which will make it easier for you to get your divine cards. So even in the first 2 minutes, the game snowballs very heavily out of control. But at the same time, I feel like it also depends on the players, because even if the enemy team is taking the Kais and the bosses, if you recognize that they have a lead, you are able to play safer. As long as you're not dying, you're able to continue farming at your back of your base, because you will have extra minions that spawn at the back. If you are behind, you can take those to try to catch up. As long as you're not at a power spike difference, such as like level 5 when they have ultimates, or level 8 when they get their level 2 ultimates, if you play a little safer, you are usually able to outplay the enemy team to try to get that lead back. But it really just, that first 2 minute snowball can literally decide the game. Even for our team, if we get a lead in the first 2 minutes, we can snowball it so hard that we can end the game in the first 4 to 5 minutes.
Exactly. And especially when it comes to being able to chip, I think chipping is one thing that I personally have a big issue about when it comes to the game. And that's because like chipping is just such an issue where I think it also benefits someone having an advantage
Yeah,
because if you have that advantage, you can kind of just again keep pushing without a lot of repercussions in many situations, because it's like, oh, I'm still just rewarded for just being ahead in a way where even if a team is playing smartly and safely with defense, realistically, if you are also playing smartly on the offensive side, you could get a lot of chip damage in and destroy a tower even if someone's trying to play safe. That's one issue I have with it, honestly. And it makes it feel like even if you're defending, like it doesn't even matter half the time, especially if they get your tower like under 30%. Someone could
yeah.
just go in there solo and chip it by themselves, and that's just kind of crazy. That's something I personally have an issue with, but I would agree, like I even the first 2 minutes is kind of crazy, but there's so much that happens during then. And I think a lot of that needs to be adjusted in some way, and especially when it comes to triple KOs, getting both Nappa and 16. If you, as long as you get Ribrianne and Jacko, you're set at the back
Yep.
end of the match as well. So I think that's something that needs to be like, maybe they need to be spaced out more in terms of when they come out. Something like that has to happen where I feel like late game needs to matter a little more, because realistically, early game is, I think, by far the most important thing that happens right now because of how the game is with its snowballing effect. But we're gonna take a look at some of the replies here, see what people are saying. I'll refresh one more time just so we can make sure we have the most up-to-date things. Voice chat, someone says, needs to be an option. I think I do agree, honestly. I mean, people could be a bit much when it comes to voice chat, but is there like what I have not really like dipping into too many MOBAs. I know you have dipped into League. Does League have voice chat? I actually don't know that.
So League has team voice chat where you're able to communicate with people that you're queued up with.
Yeah.
But other than that, the only communication you have is through the chat system. So you're able to type messages, but almost nobody uses that chat system to try to tell people what to do. All they really use is the ping system, which we do have in this game as well. And yesterday I was playing with the best JP players, and obviously my Japanese isn't good enough to communicate with them for Gekishin. So we did the same thing where both of us were using pings to communicate with each other to try to say like what we were trying to do. And I think that's a big thing that people just don't utilize. A lot of people do not ping in this game. And if you start pinging more, especially even against certain characters, like one of the best ways to counter hit is if hit is on you, if you ping where he is, your team will be able to see that ping. So that's something that I tell my players to do so that I know where he is, so I know where to aim my skills to try to hit him. Because if you kill hit, even if he's an ult, if you kill him, his ult and his blind both go away.
Yeah, it could be a very dangerous player, especially if you're, again, like if you're able to ping and kind of get an advantage of that, that's really useful. But I think there's the thing about the voice chat is that I think you have an inherent advantage of if you are like when I'm playing the game, I don't really usually solo queue. Sometimes I would if I'm on stream or something, but like there's many situations where you're running into duos even, or if you're again potentially even running into a quad. I'm not sure how often that happens when you're in solo queue. It's a thing where if you're running into a team that is able to communicate a lot more freely by having a like their own voice chat, like an external thing like Discord or something, you are at an inherent disadvantage, unfortunately. That's why I think having a voice chat option in game would be useful when it comes to that, just because it is going to be more easy to say exactly what you mean or exactly what you want someone to do, because you could ping to a location, but sometimes you might need a little more clarity on that. And I think that the game, I think it goes to a certain point where sometimes you just need to say stuff to someone, right? Rather than just ping it. But I agree that pinging could be used a lot more. Like whenever I solo queue, I do definitely make sure I use the ping system. Sometimes people don't listen.
Just people don't listen.
Yeah, people just don't listen. So that's,
I'd say like with the ping system, it's you're able to ping almost everything that you could communicate in a VC. You are able to say with pinging, but the thing that gets kind of like the advantage from VCing with somebody is like, let's say you need somebody to go defend and you want a specific person to go defend. There's no way to ping. Like you could ping that person then ping tower, but if they don't understand that, if they don't know what a ping means, that's where the issue comes in, because nobody's really explained the ping system. So a lot of people just don't understand. Like if somebody's pinging you and they're pinging tower, they want you to go to tower.
yeah, and that's where I think the tutorial kind of like it explains the basics of the game, but I think so much of the game is should
there's
be. I mean,
this
there's the
game
game
is very
guide,
deep.
right? There's the whole game guide that I, like at best like 10% of that game guide is explained in the tutorial. There should be like extra tutorial things to do. Maybe it gives you some sort of like, maybe you get Zenny or something from it, or like you get rewards from actually doing it, so people actually will do the tutorial, and they have like extra things like, oh, here's how you ping, here's how you extend the camera if you're on PC, here's how you do just a bunch of different things.
I think a big one is they don't tell you that you can tell Zeno which lane to go at the start of the game.
Exactly, which can be useful sometimes, but it depends on what's going on.
Because whichever lane Zeno goes to, that's typically the lane that will have, for one, Zeno advantage first, which is a term that I coined, which is essentially where you're able to stop. It's when they don't have healing, so you're able to fight them 2 times while Zeno's there,
Mhm.
and you essentially have 2 health bars, and it makes it very easy to win a fight because you have 2 times their health.
Exactly, right? And especially if you do gain an advantage with the Supreme Kai, and you know that Zeno's gonna go top against them. Let's say that you're in top lane and you have a Krillin and a Super Saiyan Goku or something. You get the Cell
Mhm.
Junior, or not Cell Junior, the Supreme Kai. You have the advantage. They take damage. You can go back to heal, and then you can go back to push them.
Mhm.
Even if you let them take a little bit of that mid farm, you're able to just straight up kill them, and you could probably get a lot of damage done at their God of Destruction just right
Yeah.
at the start, which is really useful. But that's like something they can't really explain. So Cell Junior, yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
level gap
Number
is so
one most hated
wide.
thing in the game.
Yeah, it's basically game over for the other side because they can't catch up in time. And we already are talking about, just in general, the game has an issue with snowballing and like early on, but this just like worsens that, I think, especially because it's random.
Yep.
If you guys didn't know, Cell Juniors, I mean, if you played the game a decent amount, you've seen Cell Juniors can spawn wherever. Sometimes they get to spawn, like I've had games where multiple minutes they only spawn sometimes on top, or they only spawn on the enemy side, and there's not really a clear reason or rhyme to it. So yeah, and they especially only really spawn like in mid, right? I don't believe like they spawn back or anything like that.
They only spawn in the lanes in the middle of the map. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, I don't know, it has to be some sort of like actual, it can't be random. I think at the
Yeah.
bare minimum, it can't be randomized, because that's just like, it literally could just give people an unfair advantage. Like you could be doing everything right, but then all the Cell Juniors spawn on the enemy's team, and like
Yep.
they're like just still 3 levels ahead of you sometimes, even if they get a really good
The amount
like
of
Cell Junior
times where
spawn.
it's like you will have a fight with the enemy team, and let's say you win the fight. Let's say you're fighting for Supreme Kai, you get the Kai, you're going back to heal, and then right as you go back to heal, it takes around 4 seconds to heal. A Cell Junior could spawn on their side of the map, and they get the Cell Junior, which completely negates the Supreme Kai advantage you just got. And
Exactly.
people say it's a skill issue. You have to be able to better at securing. Sometimes it's you have no control on it. It will spawn at the literal worst time for you. Let's say you mess up, you lose a fight. Immediately, I've had it to where we die bot lane, and 2 Cell Juniors spawn on bot lane right as soon as both of us die.
Exactly.
It's one of the most annoying things in the game that can happen. You do have to change your entire playstyle for Cell Junior. You have to basically not fight the enemy team at all until Cell Junior spawn. Once a Cell Junior spawns, you can then fight, because then you're in a good place of health. But if you fight at any point before that, you're essentially just saying they're gonna get the next Cell Junior, because whoever has healing advantage there takes the Cell Junior.
And you just don't know when that's going to happen, so
Exactly.
it's just really dumb.
I think the change that's best for that is either Cell Junior should just replace the Supreme Kais and spawn where the Supreme Kais spawn for the game, or whenever they spawn, for one, there needs to be a set time. So maybe like at the start of every minute, so like 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, that's when they can spawn. And they should stop spawning late game, which is another thing. Like late game people get to level. The thing about Cell Junior is you get one, you're basically guaranteed to get the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one. And that's the problem, is that it just snowballs out of control. Because you'll have moments where somebody's level 11 because it's a Cell Junior game, while the enemy team is level 6.
Yeah, it literally happened to me today. Like someone,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, why is this Oob level 11? And then I'm like level 7. Because he got
Exactly,
one
it's-
advantage at the start, and then he's already 5 levels ahead of me. Like, come on. That's so
Yeah.
insane. Even if you were
It
playing
needs
really
to
good.
be a consistent spawn time and a consistent spawn location. I think spawning in the middle where the Kai is at a consistent, whenever Kai respawn, honestly, is fine. If it just spawns in the middle on Kai respawn, that is fine. And there should only be one. You don't need to spawn 2 Cell Juniors a lane.
Yeah, exactly. So that is a thing. It's a MOBA. The lane phase is very important. Like League, you have to play smart. Cell Juniors are a problem. Gekishin burst is fine. There were problems with lack of way to communicate with randoms. Yeah, I mean, we could talk about Gekishin burst actually, because I know Annie responded about Gekishin burst. Annie says Gekishin burst is completely needed. You don't need Super Saiyan 3 Goku killing a tower. I do agree. I like the idea of Gekishin burst. My issue with Gekishin burst is I think it feels like it can be annoying sometimes, because sometimes you don't want to necessarily Gekishin burst if you're pushing it on a tower. Um, Sometimes I might just want to use a skill, right? And even
Yeah.
if I'm around it, and if I get somehow pushed into the tower or anything like that happens, I'm forced to use the Gekishin burst, and then
Yeah.
it just puts me at a disadvantage, even though it's not what I wanted to do. Especially if you're fighting like a Frieza, right? I think that
Hmm.
could be something that happens. And secondly, I really, really, really hate chipping. I think I get the idea behind chipping, but I feel like in many situations, it just like I talked about it earlier, it just promotes someone just kind of not even making like a necessarily smart move, but just kind of like, oh, well, we already have an advantage. I could just go chip the tower anyways. And even if someone else is like, if all four people are on the tower defending, like, and they're actually coordinating as a team, it doesn't even matter sometimes. Like I have the tower already. It's already in like 20%, 30%. I could just do it myself solo, right?
Well,
Or get it
the
close to being done, but
the thing is, if the tower's at 20%, then if chipping wasn't in the game, you'd have to basically team kill the enemy team to take that tower, which would make the game a lot more extended. So I do think chipping to an extent is needed. The problem, in my opinion, is how much the chipping damage is,
I think that's fair too.
especially with certain characters, because the way chip damage scales is based on your cooldown. So if you have a skill that is a super fast cooldown, you're going to be able to charge it up really quickly and get a good amount of chip damage. And if it's a longer cooldown, it's going to take longer to charge, but the chip damage on that skill will do a lot. That chip damage on longer cooldown skills will do as much as one full short cooldown skill. So it does affect it very heavily, but chipping is necessary. The problem is just how much it is. As far as defending goes, if you're trying to defend somebody from chip, if it's like one person trying to split for chip damage, you need to have your DPS there to try and kill them, which is why 3Q is so good, because you can have 3Q and one other person go there, kill them, and then 3Q can IT to wherever your team is. Because you never want to have 4 people there to defend a tower unless it's like the last tower at 10% HP.
Yeah, exactly. Where it's like, I definitely get that. And that's where I'm like, I understand like it's a necessary thing. And I don't think they need to just completely remove it. Like, I'm just thinking it's more so like kind of unfun sometimes.
Yeah.
I think the damage needs to be adjusted in some way. And I think Rose is actually here saying it. Chipping deals too much damage. Understand it's necessary not to stall games out, but the degree is excessive. Besides that, in general, the game suffers from having a ton of snowballing mechanics that are perfectly fine in isolation, but become way too belligerent when... What is it? Belligerent. I said that wrong. This game could use one when the tides are very obviously unbalanced. Sell juniors, add new maps. I think new maps would just bring a breath of life to the game. I'm actually surprised. Like I think they're focusing on like these different game modes, but I think they should just focus on a new map the next time, because we know there's the what's it called? There's the
nobody plays the game modes. Let's be so for real.
Yeah.
You go into those game modes, you sit in queue for 30 minutes trying to find one match. You wait longer for that than a ranked match.
Yeah, there's land grab, and then now there's gonna be the harvest mode
thing. Yeah.
Like, and the thing, I think maybe more people would play it if you get some sort of reward or Zenny like that. Yeah, exactly. But because you don't really get anything from it, it doesn't incentivize people actually playing the mode. If there was some sort of advantage to it, we would definitely see more people on there. But then you could argue that it takes people away from the actual ranked matches itself as well. So I don't know.
The other thing too with Gekishin bursts is it is annoying that when you get in the tower range that you have to use your normal abilities, you're not able to use anything else. But I feel like the reason they did that is because in the first beta test, the defending towers in the first beta test was impossible. It was, if you feel like it's snowballing now, in the first beta test, imagine if somebody's level 11, your team is like level 9, level 10, right? It's not that big of a gap, but level 11, they get their level 3 ultimates. They're coming to take your tower with level 3 ultimates. Their level 3 ultimates will cover the entire screen. But the toxic thing was they can spam 4 ultimates on that tower. You can't defend it because one, you have to eat all the ultimate damage, which will kill you and you will get team KO'd. And your tower is guaranteed gonna die because towers used to be able to take ultimate damage.
Yeah, exactly.
And also skill damage, which is why it's so dumb that they recognized how OP that was and they introduced Gekishin Burst to counter that, which is I think a much better mechanic than people just being able to ult spam towers and take towers while also killing your team. Now you have to be a little bit more smart with, do I want to take tower or do I want to fight the enemy team? And if there's, the enemy team is defending, obviously you shouldn't be trying to just chip the tower. You might get like 1 or 2 hits in, but you're guaranteed going to die, and then your team is at a disadvantage, which is a lot of the time how we're able to come back late game is we get a pick and then we play off the pick with numbers advantage. But for some reason with Dragon Shell, which I saw somebody commented about Dragon Shell, I think right there, yeah, Nazarachi, he said the Dragon Shell needs more HP. I don't even think the HP is the problem. I think the problem is that Dragon Shell isn't immune to skills and ultimates. If Dragon Shell was only able to take damage from rush attacks, we would be fine.
Yeah, I think that'd be good too, because there's just there's certain situations where I think everyone could agree Dragon Shell, it's not even the HP, but like you said, it being able to take damage from skills and ultimates is literally just the issue that we had, like you said, with the God of Destructions back in the like when it was Project Multi, right? I guess we can say the Project Multi days.
Project Peak.
Yeah. So I think that's a good idea. I've seen some people did talk about like how if you only could damage the Dragon Shell from rush attacks. I think that's fair. Like I think that would be a really good idea, just because it's kind of like, it doesn't even feel like the Dragon, it feels like, what's the point of the Dragon Shell, like with how it is most of the time, it literally doesn't even really matter. Like in like a 1 in 100 games thing, maybe even more, like someone is able to team wipe and then like, even though they have the Dragon Shell, then go and get like the win still if it's a very close match. But it's just not like a thing that really happens at all, right? So I've had enemies take out low HP towers while just sitting in my ult, which sucks because once it gets to a point, it feels like there's no point in defending them. A Gekishin burst shouldn't do any damage if not fully charged, where right now it only works like that for the max bursts. Again, I think we did address this mostly, but yeah, I think maybe the damage has to be adjusted where it's not like as much.
It is needed though.
Yeah. Don't really agree with the first point. Gex person's fine, chipping is needed, so juniors are ass.
The funny thing about ZVG tweeting that, right, is that I was in his chat yesterday because he was streaming, and it wasn't VODVG, it was actually ZVG. And he was asking me about what I thought about that. He was asking me, like, do I think the first 3 minutes are important? And the exact moment he asked me that question, he queued into us.
So now.
So then after the game, he was like, I was going to ask you if you think the first 3 minutes are important, but that game just showed me how important the first 3 minutes are.
Yeah, exactly, right? That's actually so funny. Yeah, because
in the match, they lost their tower before this first Kai respawn. They lost their tower at a minute 20. Their first tower was down by a minute 20.
Yeah,
he had 1 death and he lost the entire lane.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. And I mean, look, ZVG is a Trunks main, so he's Trunks is a character that shines late game, so I think that that's a little bit hand in hand, buddy. But we love you, ZVG.
He was playing Vegeta that game.
Ooh, okay, I see. Yeah, Golden Cell Junior is a timer. Aina, it has all the problems most diet mobile games have. I don't think I've seen a game truly match League or Dota in any way. Again, I people are telling me to hop on League. You've told me to hop on League leading up to Gekishin, and I just like hands are up in the air, man. I mean, there's a lot that's happening with Dokkan this year too. I've just been so busy.
The thing is, like, we're trying to compare this game to League and Dota, and it's like it's not meant to be League or Dota. It's meant to be a faster League or Dota. It's meant to be like Wild Rift, which is mobile League of Legends. It's meant to be like those games. You're not meant to stay in these games because League games can last up to an hour. Nobody wants to sit in a mobile game for 1 hour.
Yeah, exactly. I think the matches could be a little like longer, from like, maybe 8 minutes to like 10 minutes average, or
but
12,
even if you're fighting, like if you have like 2 teams that are of equal skill, those matches typically end up going to 12 minutes.
Yeah, I could definitely.
Which is, I think, fine for like, because you got to think of it as a mobile perspective. That's their target audience, is just mobile, console. Like PC is not really their priority.
I mean, you could tell with the way that skills on controller
have
expand
advantages.
out. They haven't
Yeah.
like that has to be a separate video I'm gonna make. But if you guys didn't know, skills automatically zoom out the camera if they're long kind of range skills on controller, but PC you have to specifically unlock your camera to do that, which is going like it's automatically set to like the Y button on your keyboard, so you have to like move your finger all the way across your goddamn keyboard, and I'm someone who has short fingers, so it's hard for me to do it, and it makes me so upset because I'm trying to play Piccolo for his buffs and I can't see where the thing is gonna go because his whole range is like fucking half of his range is outside of the screen. Like what? Come on, bro. And he's a character that does more damage when it's farther away. Super Saiyan 3 Goku, it's another character like that, where it's like, you know, sometimes you just gotta blind shot, man, and hope and pray.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it is. I wish it would just zoom out the camera. That would be so easy. Like if it wasn't a thing for console and mobile, then it wouldn't matter. But if console and mobile has it, PC should also just have it.
Exactly. Right. And it's like, to be fair, if you use a controller on PC, I think you could still do it. But like in general, it should just be an option that we should have that. I don't understand. I didn't even know it existed until like 2 days ago. And I was like, what? Okay, thanks. Whatever, man. Dragon Shell, Cell Junior.
So I do want to talk about that guy's comment there, because he said they need to up the HP for Dragon Shell, but I also hate it when people are only going for towers.
I mean,
I agree with that, but to an extent, the thing is, this game doesn't have a lot of skill expression. The characters aren't like super complicated, and because of that, the micro aspect of the game, which is the character skills, there's not a lot you can do with it. Like, you can be very good at your characters and you can use that to try to win games, but for a large majority of the game, the macro aspect, which is the going for towers, going for bosses, managing your XP, that is what was going to win you games, because that is where the skill expression lies. And it's still not that much compared to, like, obviously like League, but as you can see, like when you fight good teams, that macro difference makes a very big difference on the outcome of the game.
Exactly. I do agree with that. And it's like at the end of the day that the game is built around the towers and the objectives. So people like, that's what you're supposed to do, right? Like I feel like this is like kind of like going into it like maybe like, oh, a fighting game aspect, but it's not really.
Like I would love to just fight everybody all the time and just see which team can outplay the other team to kill them better.
I think that would be like an interesting like a mode like that would be interesting, where it's like towerless, and it's just a certain set of time, kind of like how land grab is a certain set of time, and it's like after like 10 minutes, whatever team was able to do the most damage like is the winning team, just for fun. I think that could be interesting,
kind of like a TDM mode.
Yeah, that could like scratch people's itch for like actually wanting to fight and like kind of show like their actual character skill, quote unquote. But like, yeah,
let's save that for when Goku gets nerfed.
Please. Oh my god. Oh, dude, Gotenks, like, okay, this is off topic, but like Gotenks is the Galactic Donut plus Goku Spirit Bomb is gonna be so nasty if he's not nerfed. I mean, oh my god. Or this is Kamehameha. Like a Gotenks Goku lane. I mean, Goku with like anyone, honestly, but like still. So Junior's toggle for the skill. Yeah, I think like a toggle to use skills under the towers could be interesting. I think I would like that. Grabbing the Dragon Ball should have
that's a good idea.
I think I like that.
You have to change it to at least 50% to do chip damage.
Oh, this one right here?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Honestly, yeah, I think that would work too. Because it's like, you can't just rush in and just do chip damage like with all your skills up. You have to kind of play it a little
especially because they added that new divine draw with like the Zeno stars that give you cooldown reduction. I don't know if you've seen how insane that gets. Like when they have double Zeno, they spawn so many stars that like their team can just, it's literally like it's like a machine gun of chip damage.
I haven't seen that, right? I actually really do like the stars for the most part, though. I think that's like, they actually added a pretty good role. I like the stars because it's not something that you just automatically get. You kind of gotta still maneuver around and things like that, right? It makes you more interactive with the game, which I really do enjoy.
There was I think Nas said also like he hates that Hit is the one that gets mainly benefited by like clouds and grass. But I feel like those they benefit Hit more than other characters, obviously, but they're still good for everyone. Like it gives you extra places out of vision where you can try to hold a flank or try to catch people off guard. The amount of
Backstab.
times we've sat in clouds and just backstab. It's nobody uses backstab, but it's so freaking strong.
Backstab is under. I did the video. What's it called? Me and Sherry, where we used Trunks and Krillin, Diamond Goku and Krillin together with backstab. That was so silly.
Yeah.
And obviously Hit uses backstab really well. I mean, Super Saiyan 3 Goku could even take advantage of backstab, but like with the clouds, like
it can work, but I think
really.
he just wants the double vanish to be safe because his
I would choose double vanish, but like you could theoretically use backstab is what I'm saying. But yeah, I mean that'd be good. How do you feel about like the bar grabbing the Dragon Ball? I feel like that's not needed. I think like it's like an interesting idea and concept. But
it would make it easier to defend early game. Or not early game. It would make it easier to defend when Dragon Shell is exposed.
Yeah.
If they had to do like a bar to pick it up rather than just one click.
And it's like I could see it for sure.
Because at that point you basically have to team kill or kill whoever's defending to get the Dragon Ball, which I mean, yeah, I think the problem is just the Dragon Shell itself. Because in League they have basically what a Dragon Shell is. It's called a Nexus. And the Nexus has a lot of HP, so you're not able to just like, you have to basic attack the Nexus. You can't use an ultimate, you can't use a skill on it. You just have to constantly basic attack it. If you have like something you spawn that does damage, like in this game it'd be Zabra and Doi, but they can hit Shell. But in League, they don't have like, not every spawn can hit Shell. It's like some can, some can't. But the main thing is like there's not a Dragon Ball to pick up, and the Shell there is a lot better. So I think the main issue is just the Shell, not as much the Dragon Ball itself. Because once the Dragon Ball is exposed, you shouldn't be struggling to pick it up.
Because you
already did the main part of the game. Yeah. So I think it's just Shell itself is the problem. As long as they fix Shell, you won't need to worry about the picking up Dragon Ball part.
Yeah. Again, we've kind of talked about a lot of these points here. This is a new one actually. This game has potential to make competent other mobile games like Mobile Legends Big Bang, Wild Rift, Honor of Kings, but the problem is the bad signals. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I don't really have the best connection sometimes, but
I mean, on his main server, he's getting 92 ms, which is fine. Yeah, it's a visual thing. It's saying that it's a bad signal, but when you're playing the game, it's not an issue at all. So it's just a visual thing mainly. But what they do need to do is address the bugs, because for some reason we're 3 weeks into the game and almost every single bug from day one has not been addressed.
Yeah, I mean, some of them, but not the most important ones. Like when someone disconnects from a match, like someone can alt F4 and then like, okay, I'm sitting here for like 15 minutes. That's really annoying.
So I don't think that bug is caused by people alt F4ing, because we've had games where nobody alt F4s and that still happens. So I really think it is more of a server side issue. And I would think, right, if you're, because I've had the bug happen when we're literally about to pick up Dragon Shell. So I would assume that if you're on the enemy team and they're about to pick up Dragon Shell, you'd rather just pick it up and you can move on to the next game. Well, I don't think you want to sit there for 10 minutes knowing you're guaranteed going to lose because they're literally about to pick up Dragon Ball.
We say that, but some people get so mad. Some people get mad enough.
I completely get that. More than most people probably would. But for the most part, because I've queued into streamers and it's happened. I'll go to their channel, I'll ask them if they did it, and they said no. And I checked their stream, like it doesn't seem like nobody on their team did it either.
Like, I feel like I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong with that.
Maybe it's both. Maybe it can alt F4, and maybe it can happen on its own. But the one thing that I have seen people do intentionally happen to me 7 times yesterday is if they queue into you and they know they're gonna lose because they've lost to you like 10 times that day or whatever, they will just sit AFK and spawn so that the AFK timer ends the match because there's no penalty for AFK.
Exactly. I think what should happen is, well, firstly, they should get a penalty. But secondly, there should just be an option to avoid player, like a certain player, honestly.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know why that's not a thing. I think that's just a thing like a lot of games have. Just like let someone just ignore or just like.
Well, typically when they have that feature, it's to avoid them as a teammate, not as an opponent. So you could still queue into them as an opponent and they could still do that. So I don't think that would change that. I think the main thing is just they need to actually start penalizing people for doing those things. Yeah. Also, when like when they just AFK it and it like ends the match, it's not even on your match history, and because you can't report people through leaderboards or anything else, since that game AFK games don't go on match history, there's no way to even report them for it.
Yeah, which is very annoying too. I think what they, I mean, honestly, still having like an avoid teammate option will be useful.
Yeah, for solo
for
queues,
sure.
100%.
100%. That should just be a thing. But yeah, wait, I've had half of my matches turn around when you're losing because I'm caught off even a little off guard, whether it be level flanking. Don't think it hates Golden Cell Junior modifier. It's stupid how bad you get snowball if you get one. I mean, yeah, again, Golden Cell Junior, yeah, but like most, you could turn a match around. That doesn't mean that most of the match is determined sometimes by just the first few minutes. But
Yeah, at the end of the day, like, the more equal the teams are in skill, the more back and forth the game is. Typically, when the teams are equal, the game does not snowball. The only time the game heavily snowballs is when there's a massive discrepancy in between the teams.
or
Cell Juniors.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think
Even like, we queue into the JP team, and us and the JP team are very relative to each other's skill. If there's a Cell Junior game and one of our teams, like we have a Kale player on our team, Kale secure is insane. If that Kale gets going, they don't stand a chance. They have to FF by like 4 minutes. And if they have a Goku player who's really good at securing, if he's getting the Cell Juniors, we have to FF by 4 minutes because he's level 11 and we're level 5.
And to confirm, this is the JP team that Aizen's talking about is like the best JP team.
Yeah.
So like, just in case people are like, you keep bringing up the JP team, what do you mean by that? But yeah, like these are like SS rank level players, like the highest rank. So
Like these are people with like 500 hours on the game at this point.
yeah, and so there you go. But I think most people do have the same sentiments about the game, so I think it's good that a lot of the community kind of does understand the game, at least in a relative way, especially with the Cell Juniors, Snowbally. So at the end of the day, though, I'm not a game developer. I can't really say for sure what they're going for, or you know, what they might change or how they think would be best, because I mean, I'm just a content creator, man. But I think one thing's here, we're at like what, 36 minutes in. Goodness. I'd be yapping, man. I love this game so much at the end of the day. But check out Aizen in the comment section and the description. I don't know, is there anything else you feel like just noting before we end?
No, I feel like we covered pretty much everything.
All right, sounds good. Well, y'all take care and catch you guys next time. Peace out.